Australian Book Travels. Welcome to you all. Particularly, I welcome all of you who have joined the channel in the last few weeks, whether you've just started watching us or whether you have subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It is free and it's just a matter of pressing a button on your screen, whether it's your television or your computer or your mobile phone. And it helps us eventually to bring more content to you. And also you can be notified when we upload new videos. So that's exciting too. And then you can keep in touch, keep informed. A few things to do to have discussed with you today. One is I really have to apologize. I am very late with this video, not because I'm very late and not good at time management, more to do with the fact that I began this video early this morning and I have had so many technical problems. It's just one of those days. So I decided to start fresh and hopefully we're on the road to getting this video uploaded for you all. Okay. One thing I must say, on the weekend I uploaded a video on Instagram page, which you can access through the channel here. And I uploaded a photo that I had with one of the books that we're going to discuss today and a cake, an orange cake that I made, which has origins in a recipe but has morphed into now my own sort of recipe really, because I've changed it quite a bit. And a number of you through Instagram asked for the recipe. So I will give you the recipe in the description box below, or if you wish, you can email me. If you can't access your description box, I know if you're watching this through the television, you can't access the description box on YouTube. So I will give you in the subtitles, I'll give you the email address, which is austbooktravels@yahoo.com. That's AUSTBOOKTRAVELS @yahoo.com. And you could, if you email me requesting the recipe, I will give it to you. It is, of course, a pinch of this and a cup of that, not necessarily the right sort of or exact measurements, because I really cook a lot by eye and just by how I feel. So the recipe on the weekend is, I've baked it many times, but I've changed it a little on the weekend and I'm very happy with it. So I'm more than happy to share it with you. Okay, everyone. Glasses on, spectacles. Now, first things first, I'll just put my coffee aside. This is The Language of Food. I hope you can all see that. Now, this is by Annabelle Abbs and was printed, it was published a couple of years ago, 2022, I think. Let me have a look. Yes, 2022 by Simon & Schuster. It was originally in hardcover, but I have only the paperback version. This, it has some historical content, but it's essentially, it's a fill the gaps type fictional story. The two historical characters in this book are Elizabeth Acton and her associate Anne Kirby, I think. Hang on, let me have a look. Oh gosh, everyone, you'd think I'd know by now, wouldn't you, to remember these things? Yeah, yes, Anne Kirby. So, actually, I think I could have looked on the back. Yes, I could have. Anyway, Elizabeth Acton was a poet in the 1800s, in the mid-1800s in England. And she, for various reasons, through her publisher, they decided that it would be really good to publish a cookbook. Eliza was not a cook, but she soon became one. And with her associate or her assistant, Anne, they try out all of these recipes, they begin cooking, and they write a cookbook that then becomes famous and really well sold throughout the world. I think it sold something like 150,000 copies within 30 years or something like that. It was really well received. So from going from a poet, being a poet, through to a cook and having a well-received cookbook was astounding, really. Now, as I say, the two characters, Eliza Acton and Kirby, were real historical people, but due to lack of documentation and really good records kept, Annabelle has had to fill in the gaps. So a lot of this is fictional, but the characters and some of the story are historical fact. I enjoyed this. I found it quite romantic in its way, but then I find that food can be romantic. I am a foodie. I am a cook, or I enjoy cooking. I'm a home cook. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you enjoy cooking at all, this does have a few recipes through it, but some of them are really scrumptious. Some of them are from 200 years ago, so they're questionable now. Well, not questionable, but they're not the mainstay of our diet, and some of the food I don't think I would eat, but some of it is very delicious, or it sounds delicious. And there are a couple of recipes through this. Oh, whilst I'm at it, yes, there are a couple of recipes at the back. Now, whilst I'm looking at that, there's recommended reading, and there's a list of some of Eliza's poems. Now, it gives you a note on characters and locations, but the actual reading content is 380 pages. I recommend this. I really enjoyed it. As I say, some of it is historical fact, but it is a fictional story, really, for the mainstay. But I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Now, two I read this week. I read a few this week, but these two I wanted to present to you. Let's begin. The Death of Dora Black, Lainey Anderson. It has just come out, just been released in the last couple of month or 2 months. Now, this is again published by Hachette, and it's 2024. I just want to double check that it is 2024. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. Yes, 2024 by Hachette Australia. And I think this is 306 pages or something. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's 306 pages. And then there's the author's note with some historical information. This is crime fiction. However, our protagonist, or one of the protagonists really, she is a main character, but there are others who come into this that tend to water down her as a main character, but she is the main character. She is an historical character. She existed in South Australia in the early 1900s, but 1915, 1917. This book is set in Adelaide in 1917. Our protagonist is a policewoman who did exist, Katie Cox. I think her real name was Fanny Katie Badisha Cox, I think it was. But anyway, we call her Katie Cox. She was a policewoman in South Australia. In fact, she was the first female police officer to have equal pay and equal powers of arrest with her male counterparts. She received an MBE or OB. No, I think it was MBE. Let me just check. I think it'll tell me in the historical facts here. Yes, MBE, an MBE, and 5 honourable mentions for her policing work. A formidable person, but fair, and clearly was well thought of, considering she was given equal rights at that time, equal pay and equal powers of arrest. Fantastic, really, in Australia. And I might just say she was the first in the whole of the British Empire to receive those rights and that equal pay. So phenomenal, really. This is a great crime fiction. It's set in Adelaide in 1917. Some girls go missing and one dies. I won't tell you any more than that. There are a lot of stories in this one story. Just around about 2/3 of the way through, you think that, okay, that has been resolved, that crime. And we see Katie going on holiday. And then it turns out that there's more to the crime or crimes than what we originally thought. This is really good. It's a comfy, cozy crime with good historical content. I enjoyed it so much. I did a little bit more research on Katie Cox, a really interesting Australian police officer, an Australian woman. She did a lot for I think she was a teacher originally, and she did a lot for women and children who were the victims of, not just they found themselves destitute for one reason or another, but they were often victims of domestic violence or crime. So she was known for that in real life. In this, we see an element of that coming in. And there are things that we get told about Katie that are factually correct, like her work with women and children, the fact that she was known as, I think it was 3 Foot Katie, which 3 feet apart Katie, I think she was, which she used to go around Adelaide, and for the sake of social etiquette, she would demand that young lovers or those courting were kept 3 feet apart. There was no canoodling on Katie's watch. So it's really interesting. I loved it. Fictional story, but historical content. I loved it and I recommend it. By Lainey Anderson. Did I tell you it was 300, is it 306 pages? Is it 306? Did I tell you that? Good grief, I'm forgetting. Yes, it is. It's 306 pages with an author's note, historical information. I also love I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I love the cover of this. Faintly in the background, you can see an old map of Adelaide. I don't know if that's going to come out on camera, but I really like the cover on this. It's a shame it's not to my knowledge, has it been published in hardcover. It is a shame because they do get damaged, the paperbacks, and it would have been nice to have this cover, I don't know, just in a hardcover. It just looks more... It just looks nicer, I think, and I've said this before. It's more of a book to me when they're in hardcover, and you can keep them better too. You can keep them in better condition because the paperbacks tend to bend and dog ear and all that sort of thing. Nevertheless, I love the cover and I love the story, and I recommend it. It's great. Now another one. I've just finished this over the weekend. This is J.P. Pomere's 17 Years Later. This has just been released, I think not a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. So that's 2024. This is also a Hatchet. And how many pages are we, everyone? We're 370 something, I think. 380 pages. And then there are acknowledgements and so forth at the back. J.P. Pomere was born and lived in New Zealand, but he is now living in Melbourne. So we will say he's a New Zealand Australian author. 17 Years Later is contemporary. It's present day, set in present day. We have 3 really main characters who tell us the story. One is a journalist, now crime podcaster, and Bill, who is the accused and has subsequently been convicted and imprisoned 17 years ago for the murder of a family, an English family living in New Zealand. Bill is part Maori, and he was their private chef, the chef of the family who were murdered. And then we have Bill's psychologist. He was Bill's psychologist after he was after he was arrested, and for quite a few years thereafter. I did really warm to the three main characters, and as we're meant to do, I guess, there were a number of characters, including the victims, who really, they were not nice, and they came across as really manipulative and underhanded, and in some cases, I'll just take my glasses off, in some cases really racist, and they believed them to be themselves socially above anyone else. It's believable. And I mean, it is fiction, but it's believable. These things happen these days. And of course, we have podcasters these days with true crime, reporting on true crime, and sometimes successfully with a successful outcome. So I found this really good. It had enough subtle misdirections, or not necessarily deliberate misdirections, but as in any crime that has been committed and then investigated, the investigation goes on, as the book goes on, we get more and more information. So our perception of the crime changes. This is really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. But again, I've been surprised. It's brilliant. Now, I said hatchet, didn't I? And it's 300, what did I say? 380 pages. Something like that. Yeah, 380 pages. Be prepared for a really good read. I couldn't put it down. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's fantastic, and I recommend it. If you're into true crime, it's fictional, but you could believe that this sort of thing has happened. And so, with murders of families in their own home, with people being wrongly convicted, with criminals really doing a double back on their on who they say they are, and of course the podcasters talking about and reporting on true crime. So true crime fanatics may enjoy this, I think, even though it's not a true crime. It has those elements to it, and it's really believable. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I recommend it. So that's J.P. Pomere's 17 Years Later, Who Really Killed the Primrose Family. Enjoy. It is, I don't know if I said it, but it is set in New Zealand with an English family. Our convicted murderer is part Maori, and there are a number of other characters. There's a French au pair. It is also, the podcaster is Australian, and she flies over to New Zealand to investigate the New Zealand crime. I recommend it. So another great read this week. Now, a book that I bought quite some time ago, in our travel videos, we went to Guildford, and in Guildford we came across a wonderful Irish illustrator, or artist really, illustrator and children's book writer, Bridget Farmer. We went to a farmer's market there, and Bridget was there. She also hails from, she now lives in Guildford. She originally hails from Ireland. This is a children's book. We are coming up to Christmas, and so I'm trying to give you ideas for children's books and gifts and maybe stocking fillers. This is beautiful. Now, Bridget has a number of children's books. Some of them are more interactive than others, although not. This is just a plain reading book with some beautiful illustrations. Here we have the end papers, and then we have some beautiful illustrations here. Our kookaburra and a story, of course, goes on. It's absolutely beautiful, but she has other books. It's our cockatoo. She has other books that are more interactive. So some of perhaps the wings lift up and there's a little bit of information on the particular bird that the wing belongs to. So if you go to her, I'll try and link or give you a link in the description box below. But if you go to Bridget's website, she will have a whole heap of books for you to choose from. And she has bookmarks and badges and all sorts of things like that, and postcards and greeting cards. She really is a lovely illustrator, and I recommend you having a look at her website and buying a book or two. Now this is, there's a little bit more writing there so that you can see it's not just a few words on a page. I think this was self-published in 2016. This edition was published in 2023 by Black Cockatoo Books. I recommend it. Absolutely beautiful, a great stocking filler, and just a little gift for any time for children, and a lovely one to buy and read to them at night, bedtime, or to help teach them to or learn to read and all that. And get into their imaginations, plug into their imagination, and also the teaching them about Australian fauna and flora. A really good way to do that. So that is Bridget's, and absolutely recommend JP Pomare's 17 Years Later. This is absolutely brilliant. You will not be disappointed with that one. It's absolutely brilliant. The Death of Dora Black. This has some historical content with a fictional story. I loved it. It has twists and turns. Brilliant. Enjoy it. Oh, and that is by Lainey Anderson. And then an older one, a couple of years old, The Language of Food. If you are a foodie, if you are a cook, if you enjoy food at all, you will enjoy this. It's a little, although there is no romance, it is romantic. So that's that one. That's set in the 1800s, that one. This one is set in the early 1900s in Australia, and this one is in New Zealand with some Australian content, and it's contemporary. That's those. Now, we do have, please don't forget, we do have the book competition that is currently running. We will have two winners, one in the Northern Hemisphere, one in the Southern Hemisphere. We are supporting independent bookshops. All the details are in a video. If you go through the channel, there is a thumbnail that has book competition written on it with a title, book competition, and that will give you all the details and the questions that you have to answer in order to be able to enter the competition. That will end on this coming Monday, the 14th at midnight. But all the details are in the video. The other thing I want to discuss with you, particularly for all of those who have recently joined the channel, the channel turns 1 year old. Is that right? It turns 1 year old on the 6th of November, which I believe is Wednesday. I want to do something special for that. I'm going to upload, I'll film a video and upload it to the channel. I would like to have it within reasonably, real time. So I will try and perhaps video it in the morning, but I want to have a bit of a birthday celebration. It has been a wonderful year. There has been some frustration and some exciting times. There's been wonderful collaboration with, particularly with Fremantle Press, in a publishing house in Western Australia. They have offered, if I want to run another book competition for our birthday, they have offered the Treasure series of books, which is 4 books. I'm not sure. I have been a little bit hesitant to accept that offer because Fremantle Press have been extremely good to this channel. They have been very supportive, and I just don't want to be seen to be taking advantage of that. But that's something that I will discuss with Fremantle Press. They thought that perhaps we could give the books away for our birthday to one of you. But whether I accept that offer or not, we will be giving something away. We will be giving a book away or something else that relates to the channel and relates to our first birthday. So on that Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday the 6th, do make sure that you have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or for our first birthday, I may even have a little glass of champagne. Just as a sip in the morning. It doesn't hurt every now and then, once or twice a year. So do join me for our celebrations. I want to do something special. I haven't really thought it out completely yet, but we will do something special for our birthday. But don't forget, there is the competition running until Monday, the 14th of October. We will have our first birthday celebrations, and on the 6th of November. And what else did I want to say? Oh, and I will have the orange cake recipe for all of you if you are interested, and I'll list it in the description box below. Okay, everyone, I will go. I'm pressed for time now. This is really getting late, and I'm hoping I don't have any more technical problems. So I wish you all the best. Until Monday, I will say goodbye and take care. Happy reading, safe travels. Eat well, everyone. Eat some beautiful food and have beautiful drink and savor it. Enjoy it. And I will see you next video, which will be the book recommendation video. The travel videos, I'm taking a break from for now. Until not this Saturday, but the next one will be uploaded the following Saturday. So what will that be? Around about the 21st, 22nd, something like that. So hopefully I will see you for the book recommendation video on Monday. And then we will also, after that, there will be a video during maybe that week to announce the winners of the book competition. And then I hopefully will see you on the Saturday for a travel video. Okay, everyone, take care. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.